Dr. Arya Hopkins had received 3 termination notices in a single week. The first came through official channels, a data card from the Colonial Authority stamped with 17 regulatory violations. The second came as a warning from her supervisor. The third was implicit in how others avoided her at the settlement hub. None of it mattered. Arya sat in her medical quarters, watching the creature on her examination table. Not specimen. Not containment risk. A creature. A child. Kale was Velker. 3 months old, roughly equivalent to a human toddler in development, though already the size of a large dog. His scales were dark crimson with purple undertones that shimmered when he moved. Teeth filled his mouth, dozens of them designed for tearing meat. His claws could pierce reinforced polymer. His ancestors had been apex predators for millennia, and he was terrified. Arya had found him 2 weeks ago in the wreckage of a crashed trade vessel. His mother, a massive Velker hunter, had died protecting him from the impact. When salvage teams discovered the cub, their response was immediate: euthanasia. Too dangerous. Too unpredictable. No precedent for raising predator cubs in human settlements. Arya had hidden him instead. She'd risked her career, smuggled him past checkpoints, and falsified records. Every day she fed him nutrient paste, cleaned his scales, and sat with him. Every day the colony grew more suspicious. Kale lifted his massive head as Arya entered with evening meal. His multifaceted eyes fixed on her with intelligence that made administrators uncomfortable. They said Velker were driven entirely by instinct. Arya saw something different. She saw a grieving child. She saw curiosity. She saw fear. The cub made a low churr, grinding glass filtered through a synthesizer. His translator rendered it. Arya hurt. He moved closer, modulating his enormous body to be gentle. The predator was learning restraint. "I'm fine, little one," Arya said, settling beside him. She placed her hand on his scaled shoulder, warm and velvety between the ridges. "Just tired." Kale lowered himself beside her, his bulk somehow comforting. Every evening, he extended himself beside her, trying to shelter her with his presence, mirroring the protection his mother had given him. The door chime sounded at 0600 hours the next morning. Arya knew immediately who it was. Commander Thaxis stood in her doorway with security officers flanking him. "Dr. Hopkins, we have evidence of protocol violations. A Velker specimen is missing from inventory. Our records show you have access to where it was held." Arya's heart hammered, but her voice was steady. "There is no specimen, Commander. There's a child. A sentient child who lost his mother. The Velker are predators. Dangerous. Undomesticated. Keeping it violates 17 colonial ordinances regarding quarantine and public safety. He's never attacked anything. He's never snapped at me, despite having the weapons to tear my throat open. Your success doesn't prove safety. It's a ticking timer." Arya's response came quietly. "Every human child is capable of violence. What we do with that capacity is a choice." Thaxis gestured. "Bring it." Arya moved between them and the door. "No. Step aside, Doctor. No. Not for 17 ordinances. You don't execute a child because of his species." Behind her, Kale rose, claws scraping metal. Arya didn't flinch. She reached back and placed her hand on his head. "It's okay. I'm here." The growl softened. Kale moved beside her, no longer a threat but a presence. The predator was choosing restraint. Thaxis stared at the pair, human and Velker, defiant together. "You understand this ends your employment?" "Yes." "You'll throw away your career for this animal?" "He's not an animal. He's my child." Kale's translator chirred. "Always Arya's cub. Always stay with Arya." At the doorway, Thaxis paused. "You've made a very human choice. Illogical. Emotional." Arya smiled. "Yes." The transport departed in 36 hours. Arya packed her credentials, her research, and Kale, hidden in a pod labeled as biological waste. As they boarded, crew members stared. A human willingly taking a Velker cub off-world. It made no sense. It made perfect sense to Arya. Kale's head rested against her leg during acceleration, watching the colony fade. He made soft churring sounds, almost purring. "We'll find somewhere that accepts us," Arya whispered. "Somewhere that sees you like I do." Kale's eyes closed in trust. In the cold of space, they had each other. For a Velker cub and human doctor, that was everything. In the end, it wasn't humanity's technology or strength that made them remarkable. It was their capacity to see past the predator's teeth, past evolutionary programming, past the bureaucracy of 1,000 worlds. It was their stubborn insistence that even a hunter could be loved, that family could exist across species boundaries, and that sometimes the bravest thing was to choose what the world had condemned. Arya Hopkins had made that choice. The Velker cub had learned what it meant to have someone choose him back. In that small defiance of an indifferent cosmos, humanity revealed what it truly was: creatures who loved beyond reason, beyond safety, beyond logic. Creatures who chose family over fear. Every time,